That helps if I did things correctly. That sound can only mean one thing, folks. It is time for another episode of the MLB Guardcast, a part of the Network 216. I'm Mike Vorhies. With me, as always, Bryan Shaw. Bryan, I'm in awe right now. I think this might be one of the few times where I don't have a lot to say right yet. I'm still in shock. I'm waiting for somebody to wake me up. I'm dreaming. I have to be dreaming.
It's the story. It should be the story of all of baseball right now. The Cleveland Guardians, as of today, are a playoff team. They currently hold the final wild card over the Houston Astros, who they have the same record, but because you swept them earlier in the season, you own the tiebreaker and you have the current wild card. And we have a series coming up against the Detroit Tigers. You are one game behind the Detroit Tigers after being 15 and a half back at one point. You own the tiebreaker currently against the Detroit Tigers. If you win 2 of 3, that division could be yours. If you sweep, the division is likely yours.
This is unbelievable. This season has been a season of ups and downs, ins and outs. How many people buried the Guardians? How many people said that, oh my goodness, this team sucks. They don't have a chance. They're not doing anything. Listen, I may have been one of those people. When we got 15 and a half games back, I'm like, it's wild card or nothing. And then guess what? Detroit fell back to reality. They fell back to reality. Unbelievable. What can we say about Detroit? Their bullpen has failed them. Their closer has 7 blown saves. We know something about that. We experienced that a little bit with Emmanuel Clase when he blew a bunch of saves. We get it. Your bullpen is tired. You're taxed. And aside from Tarek Skubal, you really don't have another starter that's going to help you. I'm not sorry for Detroit. I'm not.
Oh, absolutely not. They've lost 9 of their last 10. They have their backs against the wall. It started against, well, it didn't start, but it was made worse by going into Detroit and sweeping them at home. They could have buried us then.
Yeah.
And we went into their house and took all 3 games. Mike, we last recorded on September 10th. And
we did.
They were on a 5-game winning streak at that time. And we started to talk about the possibilities. If they do this, if they do that, if this happens, if that happens, they could squeak in
they
the
had
playoffs.
Just lost to Kansas City.
They ended up losing later that evening. They didn't, I think while we were playing.
Or while we were recording, the game was going on. Yeah.
And we were talking about matchups against the Blue Jays and if you face Shane Bieber. And now all of a sudden, after that recording, they had won 10 in a row. Unfortunately, they did drop to the Twins in the final game of a 4-game series.
And that's okay. A 10-game winning streak was phenomenal, and I don't think anybody saw it coming.
No. So let me say this. It was, I think, before the weekend. Let's say on Thursday or Friday. I'd have to look. I went to one of those scheduled.
I like what Eric says real quick. Come on, Guardians. I believe and I see Guardians World Series champions.
That'd be something.
That would be it'd be an incredible ride. Are you serious? Oh, anyway, sorry. Continue, sir. I'm sorry.
So I had basically done some math, looked at scenarios, picked some games. And the way I had figured it was they were going to need at least 88 wins. And it was one of Boston, Seattle, or Houston could only win 4 more games for the rest of the season at that point. And I wasn't even really thinking about the Tigers. I mean, I kind of was, but they were ahead of us. And so I had picked out the games. And let me just say this. Things are working out better than I had picked. I did not have them sweeping the Tigers. I had them losing against Skubal in that final game of this series. I did not have them winning as many as they did against the Twins. I did not have them continuing to sweep teams. It just worked out great. And
it's
on top of it, you lost yesterday against the Twins, but so did the Astros, so did the Red Sox.
Everybody lost yesterday. Everybody lost yesterday. We could have made up a full game. I get it. And yes, we used 6 pitchers yesterday. Do you see that being somewhat of an issue, Brian, going into these final 6 games?
I don't, because the performance of the doubleheader of our starters, of Slade Ciccone and Logan Allen, to go as deep as they did on Saturday, and to only use Colby Allard and Zach Kent. So you basically gave the bullpen an off day on Saturday. Then they have an off day today. Everybody should be full go for tomorrow.
I hope so, and we're going to need it. Tarek Skubal versus the big rig, Gavin Williams, in what could potentially be the best game of the day. In fact, it is the best game of the day. I don't see another game where I'm like, well, maybe I'll tune in. Maybe I'll flip back and forth. There is no game like that. Tomorrow night, at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario, to borrow that phrase from the GOAT, Tom Hamilton, it is going to be rocking in downtown Cleveland. This is playoff baseball right now, because if the Guardians win, they're in. If they win out, no one can say anything.
Yeah, they control their own destiny.
They do.
The Tigers manager was on the other day, and he was saying they also control their own destiny, and he is correct. They do. The Tigers also control their own destiny. But the upcoming schedule, that is the thing, is that there's a lot of scenarios right now. And even if the Tigers do take this series, let's just say let's say Tigers take 2 of 3. That doesn't mean that your playoff hopes are done. You just have to keep pace with the Astros right now. And then, depending on what Boston does against Toronto, they have Toronto for this next series. Detroit and Toronto. Boston.
Yeah.
Detroit and Boston play each other to end the season. So if you just win 4 of your next 6, you are still looking pretty good. Yeah. However, end up
you've got 4. You've got the Mariners and the Rockies. The Mariners are hosting the Rockies, so the Rockies are the worst team in baseball. So
I would say we can take the Mariners out of the equation. I think they've run away with the division for the NL West or the AL West at this point. I don't think that what their schedule is much of a concern anymore. It's really Boston, the Astros, and then the Tigers.
Do you know who the Astros play?
They have the A's, and then they have the LA Angels. Now the A's are playing better. The Angels are not good. Angels are not good. But also keep in mind, we have the Rangers to finish things off, and by that point, they may not have anything to play for, because they are on the very, very edge of the wild card right now, and basically one more loss boots them out.
Yeah, it's definitely it's something to really think about. I mean, when we talked back on the 10th, I was not expecting this run at all. I assumed that when we recorded again, it was going to be, well, the Guardians really gave it a run, but unfortunately, they're not going to make the playoffs. Well, then they just kept winning. And we joked. We literally said it amongst ourselves that what happens if they just win out?
Right. Yeah.
And they almost did it.
They are 16-3 in their last 19 games.
That's insane.
So since the Boston series, they took the last game against Boston. They won 4 against Tampa. They won 3 against Tampa out of 4, 3 against the Royals out of 4, swept the White Sox, swept the Tigers, and then won 3 out of 4.
3 of 4 from the Twins, which I'm still in shock. It's an amazing feeling. Again, I still feel like I am dreaming. Brian, I'm going to ask you this. Who right now would you say is the catalyst? Like who's the reason we're here right now talking about this being the biggest series in Guardians season right now, tomorrow night?
I think you cannot the performances that you've gotten out of your starting pitching have been unbelievable. The 6-man rotation, all of them have been incredible. The starters, so since in those 19 games that I mentioned, so going back to September 3rd, so September 3rd and on, the starters have a 1.4 ERA.
That's insane.
That is 0.8 runs better than the second place team, which is the LA Dodgers. The worst team in that stretch is the LA Angels, who have a 6.7 ERA.
Of course, you just said that.
Let's hang on. Let's look at the Tigers. The Tigers are 21st in that stretch with a 4.5 ERA out of their starters.
I tell you what.
Let's start there. Let's start with the performances of the starting pitching. They've been going deep. They have been just shutting down teams. And I mean, talk about gutsy performances this weekend, especially Saturday when you had the doubleheader and you've not been good in doubleheaders the last several years.
Right.
Before this Twins doubleheader on Saturday that you won, do you remember the last doubleheader that they won and how long ago it was where they took both games?
I have no idea. I
think I had read it was 2022 against the Twins.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's been a bit. It's been a bit.
It was definitely against the Twins. I don't know if it was 23 or 22, but it had been a long time. So there's that. There's the starting pitching. The next man on the list, and he's got a new nickname. It's Bo Tember.
It
is Bo Tember, Mike.
And for those not knowing who we're talking about, that's Bo Naylor, who has had just an absolute coming out party. Like, this is the Bo Naylor we expected to see all season, and he waits till now to turn it on. God bless you, sir. Thank you, Bo Naylor. He looks incredible at the plate. Behind the plate, he is calling some amazing games defensively. But yes, Bo Naylor has pretty much been the leader on offense. Obviously, Jose's going to Jose. I mean, what did I see the other day? He has 30 doubles, 30 steals, and 30 home runs again. Like, that's all he does is just continue to obliterate baseballs.
Yeah, in the same stretch, in the 19-game stretch, Jose's got a 9.68 OPS, and Bo Naylor has a 9.13 OPS. Bo Naylor, in at least 2 of the games, I believe, had all the RBIs in 2 of the wins over the 10-game winning streak. I believe all the RBIs were Bo's.
I can definitely see that. Just if you look at our lineup, everybody is on right now. Kwan is back to being Stephen Kwan.
He has 7.7 OPS. Let me give you a couple of names that are also at the top of this list during this 19-game stretch where they're 16-3. CJ Kafis has an 8.89 OPS. He's 3rd on the list.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Where's Manzo? Uh-oh.
George Valera is 4th on the list. He has an 8.19 PM.
Shout out to George Valera. Had his first major league home run.
Manzardo is 6th. He has a 7.48 OPS. Becomes scored. So it's not just the pitching.
Yeah, the offense has been right where it needs to be. Yeah, you're good.
I will bring that up. Give me just a moment.
George Valera, I'm so excited that he hit his first major league home run. That was awesome to watch. until I found out that the Twins outfielder threw it back into the seats so that George couldn't have his home run. Yeah. So hopefully they were able to track it down, work out a deal. I didn't really follow up on it. I was more excited that Valera hit his home run.
So they are 6th in runs scored. Yesterday, the Dodgers must have overtaken them. But in the 19-game stretch, 86 runs scored. That is good for 6th in Major League Baseball. Seattle is number 1 at 107.
They're crushing the ball right now. They're a team I would be very scared to play right now.
They did us a huge favor, and they swept the Astros. That allowed us to take over that last wild card spot. And, I mean, so you've been on this hot stretch. The pitching has been incredible. The hitting has – you've got guys stepping up that haven't for most of the season. So vibes are great. Let's talk about on the other side of things, where the Tigers – like I said, their backs are up against the wall at this point. They're the ones that have the pressure on them. They have to now come to Cleveland to save their season. They have to come into our house against, we're talking about, oh, well, you're going to face Skubal. Well, you got to face Gavin. We've beaten Skubal.
Mm-hmm.
We beat him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We won against Skubal in Detroit the other day.
A few days ago. Right.
And, you've talked about the bullpen and how the Tigers' bullpen has not been playing well. Maybe you only got the one run from John Kenzie Noel off of Skubal, but what you did was you worked the counts. And now you have an opportunity to face him again, which is this your 4th time this season that you'll be facing him? Yeah. I mean, there's some familiarity there at this point.
Right.
And not to mention last year.
Right, and then you have Flaherty game 2 versus Tanner Bibee, which Bibee looked absolutely, if not better than Skubal. He was electric.
I mean, it was 1-for-1. It was a very, very, that was a pitcher's duel that you could ask for. And keep in mind, before that, and I was at that game against the White Sox, Bibee went a complete game scoreless.
Yeah.
I mean, so Bibee has come around from what has been a not great season for him. You did expect a little bit better, but now you're starting to get confidence in him. So I'm going to ask you a question that I asked you last time. In a wild card series, in a 3-game series, now who's your starting 3?
See, this is tough because I think it's going to depend on matchups, because you got to go with Gavin because Gavin has pitched his absolute rear end off. He would get a start, whether it's game 1 or game 2. I think as of right now, I think Tanner Bibee gets a nod as well. And then when it comes to that all important game 3, I mean, I'm leaning Parker Messick. And the reason is because that kid has pitched unbelievably since he's been here. Not taking anything away from Slade Ciccone or Logan Allen or who am I missing?
Joey Cantillo.
And not taking away from any one of those. But I think you got to go Gavin, Bibee, and Messick, just like you're going against Detroit. I think those 3 I would take those. I would take our 3 right there.
Well, and then I think you can do something like we had talked about last time, where you pair starters together.
Mm-hmm.
You need 4 innings from one starter, unless they're just absolutely dealing and throwing a shutout. But you hope for 4 innings from one starter, and then you have the secondary starter give you 2 or 3.
Yeah. And then you turn it over to the back end of the bullpen of Sabrowski, Hunter Gaddis, Cade Smith. Who would be another reliever that we could
Tim Herron. Tim Herron has come on. He's looked like vintage Herron.
Except he got tagged for 2 runs on Sunday. He did get tagged for two runs on Sunday.
But he's definitely looked a lot better.
He has looked better. But I think Zach Kent, I mean, here's the fun part. We can talk about this too. We need to put a playoff roster together. Who's in, who's out? because you can't take 28 men for your playoff roster. So who comes in, who? Let's talk about that really quick. So what are you going to do? We have run a 6-man rotation. Now the playoffs are here. What do you do? Does Zach Kent?
You have to drop one position player and one pitcher. It would probably be either, I'm going to say, Zach Kent or Matt Festa.
Festa ain't going nowhere because Stephen Vogt loves Matt Festa. I don't know why I don't see it, but
I mean, then maybe I would say at least for the wild card, it's a starter. So it'd probably be Logan Allen, because you know, if you are going to keep your long men in Allard and Festa, but I mean, then it like I said, it's probably Zach Kent, and then Petey Halpin would be the one-off who got called up for Nolan Jones, and you know, nothing against Petey. I love that kid. I hope he's able to be a mainstay.
I can't wait
but he
to
just
watch
got
him
called
play every day. The energy that he brings, just the excitement, the smile on his face, you can tell he is having a ball. And guess what, guys? He plays the outfield. We could potentially have our center fielder in Petey Halpin. We could. We absolutely
that would be nice. I mean, they do have some prospects, and you know, that's something that we can talk about in the off season of, you know, who stays, who's next, who do they chase, if anyone in free agency. But you know, that's not something that should be talked about right now. It should be how these guys are going to beat the Tigers, and I think they are confident. I think they are playing with authority. That starts with Jose. The other thing, Mike, was if you think about to the beginning of the season and during the bad stretch, you know, the 10-game losing streak, and then there was like another stretch in there where they were playing terrible. We have an episode titled "What Happened to Guards Ball." Mm-hmm. What happened to the guards ball from last year? The really clean defense, the smart plays, smart base running, chaos on the base paths, all of those things. It feels like that's back.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, they have gotten back to playing guards ball, and it starts at the top of the lineup. Stephen Kwan is back to doing Stephen Kwan things. His wrist doesn't look like it's bothering him right now. He's swinging an amazing bat. He's working the counts. He's getting on base, and then he's running. And then everybody behind him is doing the same thing, whether it's Angel Martinez, whether it's Daniel Schneemann, whoever's batting second has been phenomenal. And then Jose has been Jose. Jose Ramirez is the GOAT right now. I don't see another baseball player that is better than Jose Ramirez. And that might be the biggest homer thing I could possibly say, but Jose Ramirez is absolutely incredible.
I mean, as an all-around player, as a 5-tool player, I'd say you're right. Because Aaron Judge has his deficiencies on defense.
Right. You take Jose Ramirez off this team, where are we?
Oh, well, I mean, that's why, like, the MVP award is kind of a silly award because it doesn't really go to the most valuable player. It goes to basically the player with the best stats for that season. But in terms of
Cal Raleigh will be the MVP for the American League.
Yeah.
And he's having an incredible season. And
he's playing a tough position defensively as well.
Switch hitting catcher, dude's hitting nukes, big dumper. He's got a great nickname. Fantastic. Cal Raleigh, kudos, bud. But you look at the lineup. It doesn't matter what Stephen Vogt has done. I for one, have criticized his decision-making. But as of late, he seems like he's knocking it out of the park. The lineups he's putting together, the pinch hitting situations he's calling on, these guys are coming through and doing everything that they need to do.
Yeah, it has. But I think the players have helped him with that because basically they are showing up. In term, like you talk about, guys, everybody's contributing. If you look up and down the lineup, you talked about Schneemann, 5 RBIs in that stretch. Arias, 7 RBIs in that stretch. Kefis, 8 RBIs in that stretch. So it's not, those aren't the normal names. That isn't the Bo Naylor, Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan. I mean, even Austin Hedges, 2 RBIs in the last 19 games. Hey,
Hedgie's awesome. I want to throw a name at you. We haven't said his name at all this episode, and we need to. Brian Rocchio, who made one of the most incredible, unbelievable diving stops to win a ball game. We have done nothing but bash Brian Rocchio and his defensive lack at times. And then there's
earlier
times
in the season, he was tripping over himself a lot.
He goes down to Columbus. He comes back. It's a different kid. He's hitting the ball. He's playing amazing defense. He's playing with hustle. Like he's doing what we thought he was going to do at the beginning of the season.
And credit where credit's due. I would imagine it's difficult. He's moved around the diamond a bit because Arias was hurt, and so Rocchio was at short, and then Arias comes back, and Rocchio moves back to second. So I mean, it's great to see. We saw these flashes of brilliance out of him. We saw October Rocchio last year, and you were like, just build off this. Where's the focus? Because it was the easy plays that he beat Booten. It's the easy ones that he would kick around and or miss a transfer and things like that. And one of the beat reporters, I can't recall which one, it may have been Meisel, had said something along the lines of the optioning to AAA this season was kind of a wake up call for him, and I need to get it together. And I mean, something could be said too. Is it okay now that everybody's clicking? Nobody's trying too hard. Nobody's pressing. Everybody's trying, staying in their lane. They're not trying to push beyond their means.
Right.
And that's something to be said for the psyche of the Tigers right now. Are they going to come in to Cleveland because they're, like I said, their backs are against the ropes here, and are they going to be trying too hard? Are they going to be pressing? Because
I think the answer is yes, because they just played Atlanta, and I don't think anybody wants to play Atlanta right now. They're finally healthy, and they're finally clicking. It's the reason they've won 8 in a row. Atlanta's really good when they're healthy. They're not going to make the playoffs, and that's sad, but oh well. Detroit is stumbling, and they know that their playoff hopes are slipping away. A 15.5 game lead against the Guardians, down to a single game.
Yeah,
they are going to come in to Cleveland, and all their hitters are going to be swinging for the fences. They're going to be trying to do whatever they can to will their team to victory. And I don't know if that's possible for Detroit. I think it might be a little too late.
What's amazing is not only can we steal the division, there's a chance, because you have to go into Boston after that, and Boston will be fighting for a playoff spot. There's a chance the Tigers don't make the playoffs, period.
And I can't fathom that. A team to have a 15.5 game lead in the division and then they don't make the playoffs at all, that is a catastrophic meltdown. Like that is,
you want to?
It's an ESPN 30 for 30, an epic Detroit meltdown.
If your losing streak extends through another sweep against Cleveland, would you want to go into Boston with your playoff hopes on the line?
Who wants to go to Fenway Park and play Boston? No one thought Boston was going to be this good. I didn't.
Well, they were tailing off themselves for a while.
And now they're back.
They have only won 4 of 6. The Tigers are on a 6-game losing streak. So could the Tigers go lose 12 straight to finish the season and miss the playoffs? That is a very distinct possibility.
If that happens, does the ownership go manager gone? Like, do they just blow up the whole team?
I don't know. I don't know what you do there.
Well, how do you explain that to your season ticket holders? How do you explain that to your sponsors? You blow a 15.5 game lead. Everybody buried the Guardians. Everybody said they were done. And the season was over. And this team sucks. And the Dolans suck. And everything. Guess what? Just like The Undertaker, they pop up and they're like, we're not done yet.
And what's funny about that is if you look at Tigers Twitter, I mean, that's what they're saying right now. They're mad they didn't do more at the trade deadline. They're mad. I heard somebody had said, I heard a clip that they think their acquisitions are actually worse than the players that they had before.
Except Paul Sewald. He hasn't pitched for him yet, I don't think, has he?
He's activated.
He's going to pitch in Cleveland. I can't wait. Come on, Paul. Remember who signed you and who gave you a chance. Just remember, Paul. Just remember.
What if, Mike? What if the Guardians clinch the series, clinch the sweep, basically clinch the division by Jose Ramirez hitting a home run off Paul Sewald? What's the meme? Absolute cinema.
Yeah, that to me, that's going to rank above Rajai Davis hitting a home run off of Aroldis Chapman, Game 7 of the World Series. Because what this season, what we've had to deal with, the ups, the downs, the injuries, the trading of Shane Bieber, at times the cluelessness of Stephen Vogt when it looked like he couldn't coach himself out of a wet paper bag. Just all the things that have been stacked against the Guardians, and now they have a chance to tell everyone to shut up. We had it under control this whole time. Whether they did or didn't, that point is moot. I don't care. They have a chance to do something that's absolutely incredible, and this is why baseball is phenomenal. It always tells a story. Cinema at its finest right here.
Let me give you one more thing to chew on.
Sure.
According to playoffstatus.com, the Guardians playing the Tigers, whether one is the 6 seed or one is the 3 seed, is the most likely playoff scenario at 37%.
Cool. Hey, Detroit, we'll see you in the playoffs.
Wouldn't
have fun coming. Have fun coming to Cleveland.
Well, that's
we'll
the thing.
We'll be the 3 seed.
If you're the 3 seed, then they got to come here for 3, and you're doing it again.
Well, listen, and earlier today, I was earlier this afternoon, I was on a radio show, Sam Berkwin's show, and we were talking about this, and he asked me, was there a team that I didn't want to play, or is there a team that I wanted to play, or did I just want a seat at the table? I want a seat at the table because this team is playing on it. They're clicking on all cylinders right now. Yes, they lost on Sunday. I get it. It sucked.
Well, you weren't going to win every game. I mean,
no.
Let's just
if they would have, we're not playing MLB The Show, and I'm not controlling everything that's going on. They have a chance to go from dead to the postseason, potentially division winning, hosting a playoff game. All they have to do is keep winning. It doesn't matter what Boston does. It doesn't matter what Houston does. It doesn't matter what the Yankees or the Mariners. It doesn't matter what any of them do. As long as the Guardians get the job done and win. That's it. You control every aspect of this.
Yeah.
Just win. Keep winning.
If you win
2 out of 3,
if you win,
you're in. 2 out of 3. I'll take 4 out of 6.
The other scenarios, there are other scenarios. Like here's the thing. Let's say let's go the other direction. Like I said, let's say the Tigers beat you for 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Well, then maybe and depending on what the Astros do as well, the Tigers could then, you may need them, or you need Boston, one of the two. Like, you're sweating out that Boston Tigers series one way or the other.
I don't want to do that. I don't want it to come down to. I don't want my fate to ride in somebody else's hands.
But there are a lot of scenarios. There's a lot of different scenarios of how that could play out for the final games, as long as you take care of business against the Rangers.
All the Guardians have to do is, just like Al Davis said, from the LA Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, just win, baby. That's it. Baby. If you beat Tarek Skubal 1-0, fantastic. We beat them 20-0, fantastic. I
will say, I think tomorrow, I think if you get to Skubal tomorrow, if you get them, I think they'll cave. I think they'll just crumble, and that'll be it. Now, if they don't win tomorrow, I think you still have a great chance to take the next two, because the matchups are in your favor. So tomorrow's not as important. Tomorrow is much more important for Detroit, I feel like, than it is for Cleveland.
Well, and I will
if they don't win tomorrow, I think their season's over.
And I'm going to give Tarek Skubal all of his roses, because I think he is a hell of a pitcher. He's phenomenal. And against the Guardians last week, even after John Kenzie Noel hit a home run, he was throwing 100, 101, 102, and the Guardians could not catch up. He was pissed, and you could see it. And his pitching was phenomenal at that point. But the damage had already been done. We had worked counts. He had gotten behind on some hitters. The umps may or may not have been squeezing that strike zone. But Tarek Skubal is still that guy. Ask him how he feels coming back to Cleveland. Lane Thomas hit a grand slam off of him. That's going to play over in his head, especially if the fans pack Progressive Field, which they should. For these last 6 games, we could be witnessing something that hasn't been done in a bit. We control it. We could win 6 games, and we're in the playoffs.
I mean, these are basically playoff games. These are playoff series. Yeah. So with all the ups and downs that the season was, with all the bad that happened, the losing streak and the suspensions and, people being mad about the offseason and all of that, you have a great week of baseball where you're scoreboard watching, and you have an opportunity to see 6 very meaningful games here to end the season. And I hope people take advantage.
If they don't, you have no one to blame but yourself. Yes, I get it. It hasn't rained in what seems like a year around here. And now all of a sudden today, the skies have opened up. Mother Nature's flexing a bit. It has done nothing but pour since about 2:30 this afternoon here in Akron, where I live. I know the weather looks bleak over the next couple of days. I do.
Tomorrow should be fine. Tomorrow,
I think they'll get the game in tomorrow night, no problem.
Wednesday could be an issue.
Wednesday, they may want to think about moving it up.
I don't know if they'll be able to do that. Moving up has rarely happened because of tickets and things like that. If anything, Wednesday, they might have to start that game at 11 o'clock at night.
Which that's going to be insane if they do.
And then, or you're going to have to play 2 on Thursday, which Thursday also looks a little damp, but at least, there might be some start and stops in there, but it's not the soaker that Wednesday is going to be. So tomorrow will be fine. Tomorrow they'll get it in. Most of the rain for tomorrow is early, and then it'll dry up in the afternoon. But yeah, I hope people show up. Let's not forget that, Skubal had that famous outburst when he did beat us in one of the games earlier in the season, where he told the Cleveland fans how he felt about them. Mm-hmm. And in what was that, game 1 of the ALDS?
Do you think that the Guards fans have a short memory? Because I don't. I think they're going to know that, and they're going to let him hear about it when he takes them out tomorrow night, as they should.
My only qualm about this upcoming series is I wish my boy Lane was healthy to take him deep.
No Lane
my
Thomas,
boy Lane
no
was there to
Nolan
remind him.
Jones. Yeah. I think Lane could be in the dugout. I think Lane will be there to support his team.
He has been.
And he may just have to hold a bat and stand on the steps
and just
a la Kirk Gibson and just hold it and just look at him. Be like, I did this to you. That's fine.
Say I you remember?
You. Yeah, do you remember?
You remember Game 5?
Oh my goodness! I mean, this has been these last 2 weeks have been incredible. The Guardians are no longer on the outside looking in. They control their own destiny. As you said, the improbable is now possible. It is in our grasp. All the Guardians have to do is finish what they've started. Let's finish the month of September strong. And then when we get to record again, we're going to be talking postseason. We'll be talking all the fun stuff. And maybe, just maybe, we will have an October to remember.
So what's your prediction? You want to make a bold prediction?
World Series or bust. I think I want this
you
team.
Always say that.
I do. If I'm being realistic, there are two teams that I don't want to play right now. Cleveland North, aka the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Seattle Mariners, because they are playing really good baseball. If we can get into the playoffs, if we win the division, I think we can get by whoever finishes sixth in the wild card. I think it's going to be that next round in the division series where we run into some trouble, because teams like Seattle and Houston and Boston and New York, at the trade deadline, they went out and made moves to get better.
So as it stands right now, even if you flip-flop with Detroit as the 6-3, Toronto is the current 1 seed. So they would play the winner of the Boston-New York series.
Which that's going to be an incredible series. And
you would play Seattle. So
we get Josh Naylor.
Josh would come home. I mean, either way, because Toronto is the number 1 and Seattle is the number 2, either way, you're seeing old friends.
And that's fine if that's what it has to be. If we have to take Toronto to a Game 7 and it just happens to be Shane Bieber on the hill, so be it.
Well, you could end up with a scenario like you did with Corey Kluber. Remember when we played Tampa Bay in that really, really, really long game?
Yeah.
And Corey Kluber came in. Maybe you have another day like that where
but
we
don't have SpongeBob. We don't have SpongeBob this time, but we can have somebody else. It could be Christmas in October. One more time. Could be. Brian, as always, where can they find you on social media and us?
I am at WXSHAW on Twitter. It is just Bryan Shaw on Facebook. We are MLB Guardcast on Twitter. Podcast on YouTube. Watching us here live. We are with our Network 216 and also our own YouTube channel. Mike, how about yourself?
At Facebook and Twitter at Mike Vorhies. Brian, it has been a pleasure as always. Guards ball is back. Let's finish strong. Let's take these 6 games. Let's waltz into the playoffs and show them why it will once again be Cleveland against the world.
I love it. Talk to you soon.